إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. My attendance this evening was not scheduled, and I therefore requested an early slot. When, despite the lack of scheduled program, when an officer is asked to salute to his general, he doesn't ask when, where, he immediately salutes. Tonight, we are all here to salute our Master. May our Master accept our salute. I want to share a hadith with you which you all are familiar with, but I want to extract certain things from that hadith which on the face of it often is overlooked. But before I commence extracting what I propose from the hadith, I just want to clarify one issue with respect to the sanctity of hadith. Because I have the opportunity to travel throughout the world, I find that there are different movements, and one of the movements in the world today is designed to undermine the sanctity of hadith. It must be remembered that in terms of origin and source, there is no difference in the Quran and hadith. In terms of origin, the modus of expression could be different, but the origin is the same. And why is that important? Because there are occasions when the author wishes to express his mind directly using specific words, and there are occasions when the author wants to express his intention through the words and actions of another. When the author expresses his desire through specific words, that is called the Quran, the author being Allah. When he expresses his action, he expresses his intention with specific designated words, that is called the Quran. But when the same author wants to express his intention through the majesty of the one who he loved, that is called hadith. So from the perspective of origin, there is no difference. And I often give this example to explain that in the Quran, Allah has specified His intention at certain junctures. For example, Aqimus Salah, establish prayer. How? I don't care. How to pray? It's not specified in the Quran. My beloved will tell you how to pray. Whatever he says, do it. I haven't expressed a criterion of how to pray. Whatever he says, just do the way he says. I've just said pray. However, there are certain things I have specified in the Quran. One of the things about Salah, the example I've given, is times. قَبْلَ طُلُوعِ الشَّمْسِ وَقَبْلَ غُرُوبِهَا وَمِنْ آنَاءِ اللَّيْلِ وَأَطْرَافِ النَّهَارِ. These are specific times of Salah. You can't read Fajr at the time of Maghrib. Why times? إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ كَانَتْ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ كِتَابًا مَوْقُوتًا. Times are specified. Allah has taken special effort to express timings of prayer, but how you pray, He doesn't express His intention in clear words. But He's expressed very clearly the times He wants to be worshipped. But my brothers and sisters, whilst his intention is crystal clear, and no imam, no alim, no peer, no sheikh ever dare vary those timings. But there came a time in the life of the Prophet ﷺ where the muazzin gave azan for Maghrib, and the Prophet ﷺ told his companion, no, don't read Maghrib. He said, don't read Maghrib. If Maghrib is maaf? He said, no, Maghrib is not maaf. Read Maghrib at the time of Isha. Allah specified qabla tulu'i shamsi wa qabla ghurubiha. And the Prophet ﷺ is varying a verse of the Quran. Couldn't any companion have stood up and said, excuse me, we follow Allah first, then you? No. They said, if you have said, Muazzin has done azan, but we're still not going to read. If you have said not to read, we won't read. Why? In our minds, there's no distinction between his order and your order. If you have said, if he has said, read at this time, and you have said, don't read, there is no conflict between your order and his order. And not only did they not read up till this day, on the day of Arafat, when the Muazzin reads azan, no one reads Maghrib. They all go to Arafat, they all go to Muzdalifah, and they read at the time of? Allah didn't specify this. Where's the verse of the Quran where it says, read, do this? No. Why? They knew that what comes out of the blessed mouth of the Prophet ﷺ does not contradict any statement of Allah, even though that contradiction may exist in our mind. Because we are creatures of aql. We are creatures of intellect. We can host a contradiction, but there is no contradiction where it comes to the relationship between Allah and His Rasul. And I'll explain why in the conclusion of my lecture. Now we have understood the sanctity of hadith. Now let's look at why the hadith that I want to present to your attention. You've heard this hadith many times. By the way, there's three kinds of hadith. How many kinds of hadith? Three. The first hadith is called hadith qawli. Second is called hadith fi'li. And third is called hadith taqriri. I know these are technical terms, but just bear with me. I'll explain very quickly and easily. Qawli, what he said. Hadith qawl, what he said. Fi'l, what he did. Taqreer, what happened in front of him and he didn't disapprove of. These are three kinds of hadith. Now the hadith I want to bring to your attention for the purpose of tonight, because what's tonight dominated with? What's tonight's function dominated with? Praise of the Prophet ﷺ. Naat. Some people say you should just come here and read Quran, read Nafal, and that's it, go. But actually, that is also fine. But Naat is something that is not invented by a latter day group, or that was formulated by someone in a later day just to enact a ritual. The hadith that I'm about to bring to your attention, you've heard of it before, but I want to extract a few things from it. On this occasion, the Prophet ﷺ comes to his mosque. Comes to his mosque. So this is an act of worship that's about to happen. You can't have any action in a mosque that is unrelated to worship, right? The only actions that can take place in a mosque are those related to ibadah. Everyone agree with me? Yes. Right. So now here's an act of worship. But be careful how you understand what worship is. He comes to the mosque and the routine is for him to sit on the pulpit. But on this occasion he doesn't sit on the pulpit. He sits on the floor. The prerogative of sitting on the pulpit belongs to a prophet. No one other in the presence of a prophet can sit on the pulpit. But on this occasion, he takes occasion not to sit on the pulpit himself, but to sit on the floor. On this occasion, he tells one of his companions, you sit on the pulpit. In his presence. Now he could have told him to stand up on the podium, or not podium, but they didn't have podiums in those days. You know what I mean? He could have told him to stand up. But he says sit on the pulpit. This pulpit is the chair or the throne of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He tells him to sit on his own masnad, on his own chair. And he said, "Oh my companion, my order to you today is recite my naat for me." Bear in mind, this is an act of worship. And you must broaden your horizons of what is worship. Worship isn't everything that is directly related to Allah. Sometimes we could do something for someone else, but that is also worship. For example, when you respect your mother and father, that is worship, right? You are worshipping, respecting Allah. You are respecting your parents, but worshipping. How are you worshipping Allah? Because Allah told you respect your parents. You are fulfilling His order, so you are indirectly. We don't have to go into the conundrum of directly or indirectly. We know very simply, respect of parents is worship of Allah. Why? Because although the act is orientated towards the parents, because we are fulfilling an order of Allah, therefore it is an act of worship. From my recollections of Zimbabwe, I recall a very rowdy crowd. Whether that's Shinoy or Harare or wherever. My memory of Zimbabwe is, and of course of Brisbane, I've been coming here for 17 years now. My memory is that, when you poke someone, they move, isn't it? Especially at certain points. And when an ashik is prodded, he moves. And when he moves, he spontaneously says Subhanallah.